Hey everybody, it is Senna Ale and welcome to the Sanctum. So today's review is Beyond Lemuria, the Oracle Cards Pocket Edition by Izzy Ivy. This is a Blue Angel deck. Um, because it's a pocket edition, it is very small, as you can tell by the box. Because it's a pocket edition, the instructions come on a card. Talks about how to use this deck. It gives you a sample thing for reading, like a 3-card pull. And the front of the card are actually the pictures, and on the back is the actual information about the card. So basically, literally, the pictures of the cards are all there. In order to get the answer of what they are, you got to turn it on the other side. Now, Lemuria is basically on the same kind of ground as Shangri-La, as kind of like Eden, places like that. One of the things they talk about when they talk about how to use these cards, they say, bridging heaven and earth starts within us. We must tend to the garden inside ourselves before we can heal that which is outside of us. It is time to honor our own little piece of Eden. We can do this by becoming consciously aware of our actions, intentions, and shadow. You can use this deck the same way you would use any oracle. The 56 cards are divided into 3 categories. There are 10 chakra cards for working with the energy of your energy field, 7 elemental cards for working with the energy in one's environment, and 39 seed cards for in-depth reflection and divination. So it's really nice. Like, this is the crown chakra. I love that. I just love that card. I really do. I have learned to enjoy this deck. I got this deck actually as part of my Goddess box from Goddess Provisions. And I wanted to review this deck because, one, I love Goddess Box. Goddess Box rocks. I adore it. I love Goddess Box. You get some of the most awesome stuff from there every month. And I wanted to share this deck because I love the Legend of Lemuria. I love Lemuria, Mu. The Lemurian crystals, if you've ever seen them, are very unique. I might have one on me. Have to look. But you can just tell by these designs, by these pictures, that they really are meant to inspire, to create a bond between you and this idea of really allowing you to free yourself, to grow, to blend, to really go forth. I do love this picture. And it's important. I really like the readings that I get here because they're so I don't want to say inspiring, but they help you to really open up about yourself. There we go. They help you to think deeper. They help you to build upon your base of what you are, who you are, where you could be, the changes that you are making, And if you are trying to change, if you are trying to grow, what is your long path? Now these are thicker, but they do shuffle well, which is nice. And because they are almost like a handheld poker deck, like regular deck. So they're a little stiff, but they do shuffle. Which, let's be honest, I like that. The hard part about it is because you got to pick away in order to shuffle, in order to get a card. So we're gonna do a general reading, just to see what our energies are, what we need to know, just an idea here of what is and what we should be. Okay? I think when it comes to Lemuria, it's one of the better ways to go. Simple, easy. So, this is about journey to wholeness. Love from a sense of wholeness. We have concepts of others that we are not really who they are, due to subconscious projections or ideals. We can have the idea we will feel better about ourselves when we achieve a goal or status. Ooh, does that hit hard or not? Yeah. This takes us out of the present and puts conditions on love. Hold the vision that you and others are already perfect. Thus we can heal through transformative power of acceptance. Acknowledge full spectrum and bring any fractured parts back to the present moment. Here we are whole and empowered to step into the brightest version of ourselves. So basically, we always have this concept of, if only I were, if only they were. They're not their whole selves. And instead we need to treat ourselves and treat others as if they are perfect and lovable and whole. And by doing that, we allow them to become whole, to fix their idiosyncrasies that hurt themselves, that hurt others. By treating ourselves as being whole, we allow ourselves to become whole, to fix the things that we want to fix, because we transform that because we believe in it, that we are whole now. And it's a hard process, I'm not going to lie, but it's worthwhile. It's something we always have to work on. We always have to struggle to do. Trust your inner sense. So it's hard to trust your intuition. And sometimes you ask yourself, is this my intuition or is this what I'm hoping? And it's hard to tell because sometimes, we wonder if it's a projection under the guise of intuition. So one of the things to distinguish truthful inner guidance from paranoia, we must return to innocence, to our purest essence. So this is what this is. It's basically saying, go from a place of this idea of innocence, of, if I didn't know anything and I felt this, would I believe it? Would I own this feeling? Would I be jaded? Or would I trust it? Like in the Fool's Journey with the Fool card. Would I have reason to doubt it? And if the answer is no, then it's probably your intuition. If you do have reason to doubt it, like maybe it is you, then you know that it's probably a projection. It's something that you think, not versus your intuition. Realm Bridger. As you raise your vibration and explore different states of consciousness, you may experience phenomena you believe only happens in fantasy stories. Through meditation and journeying, we invite you to a greater awareness of subtle realities. So, one of the things with meditation is that there's a thing called walking between worlds, where your awareness allows you to basically be like an out-of-body experience or astral projecting. And that's something that a lot of people who have done it have talked about, walking between different realities. Whether it be here, a different plane, otherwise. And it is an unusual thing, and that's what this is saying. When you get to that subtle reality, it is something that you can learn. It brings knowledge to you. It brings peace in a lot of ways, but it also brings a sense of, in the sense of like Doctor Strange, the multiversal knowledge that helps you to realize that, one, we're not alone, and two, with there being so much out there besides ourselves, that we're okay, but we need to respect ourselves more, and we need to respect other things more. And it's a good thing, because then you are an ambassador for yourself and for others. And that's a cool aspect. So, full spectrum. Step out of the black and white mentality of good and bad and honor the full spectrum of life and see through fresh eyes. When we judge something, we create a story around it, and often these stories are limiting. Once over a lifetime, we subconsciously gather many of these stories, create a space of no story for a miraculous healing and crystallizing their new paths. This space empowers us to know our truth and be all we are. So, we often hear things are not black and white, they're many shades of gray. In actuality, things are not black and white, they are many shades of colors. Because no life is without color. There are browns, there are blues, there are yellows, there are reds, there are oranges, there are pinks, there are magentas, there are neon greens, there are vibrant yellows, there is cream, there is beige, there is egg white. So, by saying somebody is black and white in their dealings, you're missing the whole story of this person. Nobody is black and white. Not even you. You are many shades of colors. Don't limit yourself and don't limit others. Starseed Elemental. Sometimes adulting is so serious, just way too serious. And when this happens, we kind of forget to have fun, laughter, even curiosity. So we need to rebalance. So one of the things about starseeds is the fact that they are to bring joy. They are joyful. They are a child's delight kind of people. And this is what starseeds bring, is that whole elemental aspect of fun, of being inquisitive, of learning, and taking that idea of we all can be joyful and playful and yet caring. And we need to remember that. We don't have to always be serious, even as we learn, even as we deal with real world things. Sometimes we can be lighthearted. We can be serious, but at the same time, care. We can be that person who embodies humanity. Transformation. When we transform, we go inward. We are present. We are able to feel what we need to feel. Part of transformation is being able to self-love, to make a cocoon around ourselves and acknowledge what we are, who we are. When we love ourselves, our transformation into something better is possible. Without that self-love, we wither away. But with self-love, with the appreciation of what more we can be, we can transform into anything more we wish to be. And that's the height of this. And what's really nice is that you can feel some parts of you be sad. Some parts of you may need to be angry, cry out things. The part about this is the fact that you can transform those parts from doubt, anger, sadness into parts of power and energy that can be helpful and be a learning experience. They all are transformative. Gracious receptivity. Many of us tend to not be receptive or gracious when things happen. We tend to be rude. We tend to be curt. But gratitude is something we need to cultivate in all times, in all fields. It's important. Being receptive to gratitude, being receptive to being gracious is something that by learning to do, and paying it forward means that we can extend this gratitude throughout the earth, throughout humanity, and bring about a more peaceful place. Because if more people had gratitude, we would see less of the me culture and more of an us culture. This is the sound of the universe. And I love this card because it signifies those pivotal moments that basically transcend our belief, that remind us that there is something more out there and influence us that life can't be the same afterwards. It symbolizes the sound of the universe, having your world shaken to the core, and it invites a closer glimpse to the great mystery of life. This is like the ecstatic moments, that whole spell of the spiritual exploration, the creative pursuits, the spiritual dances that you see, the ecstatic dances. These are some of the ways that you can actually get a glimpse of this. These are the things that help us to peek behind the curtain, that helps us to see that sound, to help us to be part of that sound, and be aware to listen to the harmony, the music, and be so thrilled with the wonderment that the universe has, and be part of that fabric. It's important, because I don't think a lot of us feel joy at being part of the universe like we used to when we were younger. It's something that we really need to cultivate more of, because by doing so, we can actually come full around and be better at taking care of the universe. Sorry about that. Surrender. Trusting that we can achieve more by loosening control can take great courage. So, one of the best things we can do in life is to surrender control. Now, that doesn't mean to let somebody take over, but sometimes we keep such hard control over shit, we actually lose control to such a degree that we're out of control. A friend of mine was like, control is an important thing. And I said, do you know what happens when you have control over everything to such a degree? You become stagnant. Absolute lawful order, lawful good, chaotic good for that matter, is stagnancy. Chaotic good is stagnancy because you have a law for everything. You have a limit for everything. You have no growth. You need to have growth. That's one of the reasons why you have to surrender some of that order. You have to surrender to allow things to grow. And it takes courage to do that because nobody wants chaos. But we also want to make sure that we are inviting in the energy with that surrender to help us to move forward, to not just give up completely, but the surrender that we're giving, that we are giving, is the surrender of absolute control. That I have to control every minutia. But instead we're saying, you know what, the more I try to control, the less things work. What I am doing is I'm giving up control over all of that, and I'm learning to just control the things I can control. Because that's all I really have, is I can only control myself. Everything else is not me. I can't do anything. By learning to do that, you learn to surrender and you learn to grow. And you will gain an awareness that will help you to help others, and your growth will become purer than before. So the final card is basically condensing all of these cards, condensing the growth pattern that we've had, becoming more innocent, to be aware of where we're growing, the changes, by allowing growth patterns, by letting go what doesn't work, by allowing ourselves to be part more of the universe, by letting go of the aspects that hurt us and that we try to keep control of. And this is air, the paradigm shift. It is a time of tremendous change, and the speed of our evolution is increasing exponentially. We can build energetic sovereignty, inspire others, and connect the dots, and receive and share knowledge and tools needed for transformation. As we wake up, we cannot help but awaken those around us. It may start with an inquiry on what this fresh, new, long-awaited breath is all about. An expansive being holds a tiny heart-shaped seedling. When foundations we build on come from a place of love over fear, we will see huge positive changes in the world. We can start with ourselves. So what we're seeing is a paradigm shift. All of this is about shifting our perceptions, shifting how we do things. Having courage, letting go of shift that doesn't work, being able to open up on aspects that we've never opened up on, letting go of things that maybe have been hurting us, by realizing that things aren't black and white anymore. They're not even shades of gray, but they're shades of color. And by realizing that we all have different colors at different levels, we're still lovable. We're still able to be loved and accepted for whom we are. And by loving us as perfect and whole, we become perfect and whole by giving our chances a chance to shine, by transforming ourselves from the anger and the pain and suffering. We can become better people. That's the shift that we're feeling. This is all about shifting into better things, shifting ourselves, helping others to shift, providing them with an example. So be that example. Make the shift. That's your reading. So this is the deck. Beyond Lemuria, Oracle Cards by Izzy Ivy. It is from Blue Angel. And this is the pocket edition. They have a larger edition as well. It's 56 cards. The card stock is pretty good. I enjoy it. It's because it's 56 cards, but it's a smaller deck. It's easier to shuffle. Overall, I would give it a 5.8. I would use this when dealing with personal vibes, dealing with growth, perhaps looking into people. It is not a daily deck per se. You might want to use it for like a pull a card once a day deck. But for soul growth or anything else like that, it's not something I would use regularly. But for like specific readings, I may pull a couple of cards for highlights or for some details, for detailed work, for hey, work on this point or work on this point, to help with the chakra or some energy work. But yeah, that's what I would do for these. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will talk at you guys later. Until next time, Bendithian.